Well, by now, I'm sure that you guys have seen, or at least many of you have seen the trailer for the upcoming movie, Captain America, Brave New World, starring Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, and some other great actors, as far as I'm concerned, that are out there. And yeah, and by all accounts, I mean, Marvel is being Marvel. I mean, their movies, when they present them, they're very exciting and all of that. And, for me personally, my interest in Marvel, anything at this point, kind of fell off after Endgame. That was like the pinnacle of the Marvel universe, as far as I'm concerned, in the movie world. I'm sure, in the comics, it continues, obviously, but in the movies, it kind of, and even in the shows, it kind of fell out off as far as I'm concerned. But that's just me. But I'll just preface this by saying that, again, I'm not a comic book nerd. In other words, I can't sit down and tell you, okay, this person is related to this person and they had a baby from this person and all that kind of stuff. He's from this universe and he's from that metaverse. I'm not that guy. I do kind of click in, even in my childhood, from time to time, I would kind of click in to some of the comic book stuff. I just kind of know just enough. I'm that kind of person when it comes to the comic book world. I'm not oblivious to it. It's just, I wouldn't categorize myself as a nerd. But anyway, just all of that being said, so this particular movie that's coming out, it looks very exciting. And yeah, I mean, just run of the mill kind of Marvel stuff. But there was something that I heard about this movie. I thought they were actually going to do this in the series, but kind of find out they're doing it in a movie, that they were introducing a character that Marvel introduced some years ago, named Sabra. And Sabra is basic, if you haven't heard, is a female character, and she is known as pretty much the Israeli version of Captain America. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you. Yes, Sabra is like the Captain Israel. I mean, I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. So, and so anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to defer to this gentleman that has a channel called The Muslim Guy. And it's been really interesting to listen to a lot of these Muslims, as they already touched on this topic over a year ago. And this one particular video, I thought he did a really good job. So let's take a listen to what he had to say on it, and he's going to provide us with some more info on this. So let's take a listen.
Marvel has decided to introduce an Israeli superhero. Can't wait. Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, everybody? Yes, you heard that right. Marvel is bringing in an Israeli superhero into the mix. Not marketed as a Jewish superhero, but as an Israeli superhero. Her name is Sabra, and she'll be played by this Israeli actress. Disclaimer, I don't read comic books, but here's what I gathered so far. Sabra was introduced to the Marvel comic books around 1980. She's a police officer, a Mossad agent, and a superhero. The Incredible Hulk, in this case, meets a Palestinian boy. This boy explains the regional conflict. I hate it when they use that term, because apparently genocide, ethnic cleansing, and apartheid are just conflict. Anyways, the boy appears to say, can't we just share the land? And then the boy is killed by a terrorist bomb. Wow. It gets worse. Then Sabra, the Israeli superhero, finally wakes up and sees this dead Palestinian child as a human being. Gee, thanks, Hulk. Took a monster to help a Zionist find their humanity. Sort of. Here are the problems with all of this. Number one, Sabra.
Sorry, and let me stop here. In that, if you go back to what he was showing on there, that clip right here, notice where it says here on the screen here, it says that it has taken the Hulk to make me see this dead Arab boy as a human being. So someone pointed out, they said, so even in the comics, they stripped away the Palestinian from the Palestinian. And so instead of calling him Palestinian, they just call him a generic Arab boy. I thought that was something worth noting. So let me go ahead and get back to him.
Gee, thanks, Hulk. Took a monster to help a Zionist find their humanity. Sort of. Here are the problems with all of this. Number one, Sabra is an Israeli superhero, not a Jewish superhero specifically, an Israeli superhero, which is them trying to push the propaganda of Israel equals Judaism and Judaism equals Israel, which it does not. Anyways, she's an Israeli who works for a Zionist intelligence agency known as the Mossad. And this hero is not opposing Israel, but fighting for Israel. This is literally legitimizing the apartheid state of Israel and the illegal occupation of Palestine.
Is that even legal?
Just imagine if Marvel had introduced in 1980 a superhero from South Africa who fights for apartheid, who wants to keep apartheid in South Africa. Imagine that. You think they'd get away with this? That's what this is like. Number two, her name is Sabra. This has stirred up a lot of controversy. From one end, what in the cultural appropriation is going on here? Because Sabra is an Arabic name. It means patience and can even mean a cactus plant. However, it's also a Hebrew word. It can refer to a fruit from a cactus, and it's a modern Hebrew term that is used to refer to any Jewish person born in Israel. But I get the outrage. Israel's built on the genocide and ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. First you take our land, and you take our homes. Then you steal our food. And now it appears you're taking our names? Is this reverse colonialism? Are you taking on the identity of the people you're oppressing and colonizing?
Yeah, I'm confused too. We're confused.
Anyways, as I mentioned, the Israeli superhero was introduced in 1980. This was almost 2 years before the Sabra and Shatila massacre. This is a massacre where the Israeli military, along with some far-right Lebanese militia, they went into the Sabra and Shatila refugee camp in Lebanon and murdered over 3,000 Palestinian refugees. So understand.
So, I mean, this is insane, y'all. This is insane. How they and then they named this Israeli captain, after a massacre. Basically, that's what they're doing. I mean, like he mentioned, I'm glad he did the breakdown, because sabra can mean that cactus. It can mean a fruit. It can mean a lot of things. But come on. There's two. When I'm dealing with a certain group of people, I don't believe in coincidences, if you know what I mean. Okay, wink, wink. Okay, but I find that very interesting that they would even name her that, and and just some of the other things that he mentioned about this too. But for me, the reason why I wanted to do a video on this is that once again, here we have yet another example of how an agenda is being used, or an agenda is being pushed, and in a way where, once again, black folks are going to be used to kind of help push it along. And I've seen this play out over and over again. I've done videos where we went back and looked at the breakdown of how the movie Red Tails was marketed. This is a movie that, according to, I believe, George Lucas, I think he had something to do with that movie. In short, what happened was, I think they did the, trial runs of the movie, and they found that it wasn't doing quite well. He was also getting whispers from people in the industry. They were saying that they didn't really want to fund it too much and all of that, right? So he was saying this. Now, this is George Lucas. Okay, this isn't like me going to Hollywood and saying, "Hey, listen, I'm looking for some investment for a movie idea that I have." This is George freaking Lucas. Okay, Star Wars George Lucas. Okay, and somehow, some way, he was not. Oh, the people aren't really coming out to the money I need to do this movie. I'm not getting it. Okay, really? And so anyway, so what happened was black folks saw that as a rallying call and said, okay, we're going to show up and we're going to show out and we're going to support this movie. And, black folks being black folks showed up into the theaters in droves. I remember hearing all these sensationalized stories about little black children sitting in their seats, and they would just, they said they would look at them and see how their chest was all stuck out, and they stood up straight and felt proud and all of this other stuff. The movie ultimately it did very mediocre in the box office, but they always depend on, this industry will always depend on black folks to save something, to rescue something. And it's no different even what we're seeing today, when we're getting into politics, where you got all these different black politicians saying they got to save America. We just did the story talking about how the black church leaders said we got to save America. Why is it that we always got to save something? And how does that relate to this whole movie thing? Well, as you know, when it comes to the pro-Zionist argument and talking points, when it on social media, at least, it's and on the street, they are losing big time. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are very anti-Zionist, very, very much so. And they're losing pretty bad on social media and in many, many ways. And, we can have a whole separate discussion on just all of that and the whys behind that. The big why, of course, is the massive amount of genocide that they are still participating in. But not only that, how the United States is helping them out with that by sending billions and billions and billions of dollars over there. It doesn't matter if you got Biden in office or Trump, because if you get Trump in there, he's already committed that he's going to send even more money over there. So it doesn't matter who's in office. But anyway, my point is that in order to sell the argument that, hey, what they're doing over there, they're just like us. They know the only way they can do this at this point is to push this agenda on the backs of black folks and basically have us kind of help push this thing along. Well, how so, Dwayne? Now you're just talking, okay? Well, let me give you some examples of how this typically plays out, okay? And this has happened in many, many cases in other movies, and because I always pay attention to the marketing of it too, especially when they're marketing towards black people. Don't be surprised if you see like Anthony Mackie, in the near future doing some interviews talking about the racism that he had to encounter during this movie and the hate mail and the tweets that he was getting and all this other stuff. Look out for those key indicators, those key talking points that they're going to throw out in the marketing when they start going out in their press junkets. Don't be surprised if they start pushing a race angle, because once they start doing that, then that's going to be the dog whistle. That's you're going to have black folks all of a sudden. Now we got to go save this movie. We got to go watch it. If anything, I'm not down with the Israeli stuff, but I'm down with supporting our brother, that kind of thing. Listen, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you don't watch the movie. I'm not going to even tell you to boycott the movie. You are grown. And you got your money. You got grown folks' money, and you can do whatever you want with it. My only purpose of doing this video is so you can see for yourself how, once again, black folks are being used, to actually push an agenda that's really very unpopular. But this is how they do. They'll bundle it. They'll package it in with some other stuff, and then try to, and then all of a sudden now it's on us to promote it. We obviously, black folks aren't going to be promoting it because of Captain Israel or Sabra, but we'll be promoting it because we want everybody to see we got to support this idea of a black Captain America, and it's just, but we don't, but you got to understand the game that's being played here. It goes on with the videos that I've just done, that I just did recently, talking about how these black politicians, how they're pushing immigration, not realizing that this is Pandora's box, because once you open Pandora's box, there's a lot of things in there that are self-destructive to us. You understand what I'm saying? So I just found this when I got the confirmation that Sabra was going to be in this, and then the whole backstory, which I heard about some time ago, I said, man, this is something. We get a black Captain America, but it comes with this kind of hitch. So just when you go watch these movies, go in with some understanding. That's all I'm saying. If you want to go see the movie, that's up to you. If you don't want to go see the movie, that's up to you too. I'm probably about 20% chance at this point me actually going to see it, because once I heard about her name being attached to a refugee camp that the Israel army, basically where they decimated over 5,000 people. I was like, man, I don't know how you can cartoonize that. I don't get it, but just be aware of the games that they play, with us, and how they will use us and our own stories. I'm not saying that Black Captain America is our story, but they do interweave our stories into his backstory. So just keep your head on a swivel. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And that's it. I'm done. Okay. I'm just like, man, this is crazy. So anyway, you take care. Thanks for checking in, and I'll see you in the next video.